Staff flicking is one of the most important and advanced techniques in PvP, and I'm going to show you how to properly do it. But before that, we must find out what is staff flicking and why do we do it. As you can see, this is when we attempt to keep our magic staff on at all times coupled with our defensive gear to maximize the amount of tankiness we have throughout the fight. Now, the defense bonuses for melee and range are pretty non-existent, but when it comes to magic defense, that's really nothing to scoff at. What I mainly like about staff flicking is that it acts as a sort of pseudo-fakie, in the sense that you don't know if I'm going to go with a one-tick range attack or a one-tick fire surge, which also leads me into staff flicking turns a would-be four-way switch into a three-way switch, which makes all the difference. It could be the difference between a one-tick and a two-tick fire surge. It's even better for range because it turns a would-be four-way switch into literally just a one-way switch. Because you always have your tank gear on. All you have to do is just click them with the crossbow and then click your opponent. Now let's hop over to the dojo real quick and I'll show you how to do this. Now that we're in the dojo, I'm going to show you each tactic and we're going to repeat it a few times and then build on from there. So for example, this is the easiest way to staff flick. You can almost animation cancel as well. Looks like I'm bolting their ass with essentially with the staff of light. Like, how you doing that? He's bolting me with the staff. They're not, they're just staff flicking ridiculously good. And I think I'm gonna include my mess ups too because, you know, that's part of learning. So once you have that down, you can maybe add in a little bit of prayer changes. You're going to want to click your opponent, change the prayer, and then straight to your staff. Crossbow, opponent, prayer, straight to the staff. I especially like to change prayers in between staff flicks when it comes to mage. For instance, we have rigor on, but I know I'm going to go for a mage attack in the next hit, so I toss on augury. And with that, it turns the three-way or four-way switch, I guess, because we would turn on augury into a simple, a three-way. And by preemptively changing to augury in between staff flicks, it's much easier for us to hit a one-tick fire surge on our opponent. Now let's see how you throw in some mage attacks while staff flicking. You always want to have your tank gear on, so after the mage attack, you toss on your tank gear. And if you're fast enough, you can even go for the entire barrage while tossing on your tank gear all in one tick. It's actually crazy, that's why I laugh. Now I'm going to do a bit of a freestyle and from there we'll break it down and explain. Right now what you're seeing are some simple staff flicks. And with that, since you already have your staff equipped, you're going to click the crossbow, click your opponent, and then right away click your staff again. So the animation cancels. You can also toss in some defensive or offensive prayer switches in between staff flicks. So I click the crossbow, click my opponent, and then I went for a prayer switch, whether that be defense or offense. And then I would click my staff. From here we go from a regular staff flick into a traditional fakie. Not a full, staff flick, but as you see we went to mage and then went full four-way switch back into range. And then immediately back to the staff flicks. Regular staff flicks, easy as can be. From here I go to some perfect mage hits. So you go for the mage and then immediately back into the tank armor. I see I have my staff in hand. Oh, I guess I go for a second mage hit. Back into the tank armor. If you're fast enough, like I said, you can do that all in one tick. Regular staff flick right there. Back into the mage. Put the tank on. Oh, fuck. I'm at, what? Oh. I guess I had a little hiccup right there, but I should have put the tank on a little sooner. Back into another staff flick. Tossing another mage attack in, I guess. I don't even know if my prayer is correct. Checked my prayer right there. preemptive switch right there. Meaning I knew I was gonna go into a range attack next, so I tossed on Rigor. Now preemptive switching for range isn't as needed for mage because you can typically get away with turning on your prayer after equipping your crossbow. Got a little AGS whack. Actually, this one's pretty scuffed, but it just shows you can still do a fakie with an AGS whack. You don't always gotta do it. My opponent probably would have panic tossed on melee attack, and then we would have free bolt right there. So with staff flicking, you know, still do your fakies, even though the staff flick itself acts as a fakie. As usual, if you have any further tips or clarifications, I ask you put them down in the comments below. Do stay tuned for another video going over a plugin on how to farcast, which is doing mage attacks without getting hit back. Also, it's a good plugin for acquiring kills when people are trying to go for an entangle and around a corner to escape.